Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Gun Show VIP edition. If you're tuning in for the first time, thank you, first of all. But if you did tune in for guns or muscles, I don't have either of those, so I apologize. I hope you stick around. I really, really do. But we talk about manufacturing here, and yes, this is the VIP edition. If you are joining us again and again, gosh, thank you so much. We appreciate you. I hope we're talking about things that matter to you, and if you want to know about more details, by all means, reach out to us. Leave it in the comments. Shoot me a text. I don't care. Just reach out. If you want to talk about a subject, let me know. If you want a guest on the show, let me know. This is the VIP edition, and we're here to make manufacturing fun and cool. We might even one day convince Christian. I don't know if that's true or not, but he might start. Yeah, if you're a first timer here, Christian's my sound engineer over there. He's my producer, and he said about 4 months now since we've been doing this show, he started liking manufacturing. What do you think now, buddy?
Still liking it.
Yeah,
still there.
We're trying to get him on board. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take him into a foundry, show him some fire, and then maybe I'm going to take him on a filming or two, and he'll start to like it. You know, once you start touching things that make this Mandalorian helmet and this stuff that's all around us, it starts to get sexier by the second. So, with that being said, we always start the show, at least lately, with a terrible, terrible joke. Christian, are you ready?
Not really.
Yeah, you never are, because we're that bad. I think you might laugh today. I'm going to try and get a laugh out of you. Why did the manufacturing company's marketing strategy fail?
It wasn't
good.
I don't know. Metal enough? I don't know.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Trying.
They thought a call to action meant yelling louder on the factory floor. Yeah, okay, eye ruler. I didn't get him to laugh, folks. I'm sorry. I'll try again next week. We'll try again. All right, thank you, MTDCNC. This is an MTDCNC production, so thank you all for being a part of this and supporting this podcast. We always play 2 games at the end of this show, and today my guests have chosen Would You Rather and 2 Truths and a Lie, although I've been told we might play Truth or Dare and spin the bottle, so let's be careful about that. All right, we are going to do that. So, before any more ado, 2 of my favorite people on the whole planet have joined me today, and I'm honored that they are here. I got MC and Bonnie from AMT. We're going to talk IMTS, and before we get to those topics, everyone put your hands together. Bonnie and MC, thank you so much for being here. Welcome back to the Gun Show, my friends. This is the VIP edition.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love when you cheer for yourself. I cheer for myself all the time.
MC.
I'm cheering for Bonnie.
Oh, I like it. I like
you.
it. Oh,
And
thank
Christian.
you. Thank
And
you.
Rihanna.
So let's get this show started by just kind of giving a shout out or a thank you or a mention of IMTS. However you want to go about it. We all have very particular and delicious drinks here today. You both have a delicious tequila, Clase Azul, and I have a delicious scotch, a Dalmor. So is there anyone that you would like to mention today when we get this show started? And please do not shoot that like my sound engineer does. That is a sipper throughout the show, right? Just making sure. I've had people do it before.
I know.
Okay.
I appreciate my culinary cocktails.
I like it, MC. So we'll start with you. Is there anyone or anything you'd like to talk about as a part of your toast?
Part of my toast. Let's see. Close to me, one of my closest friends lost her daughter in November to colon cancer. Madison Smith and Denny McCarthy at the Masters this week was carrying, had a yellow duck on his golf bag and spoke a lot about Madison because she was such a important part of his life. My friends are very close friends with him and his family, and so I just like to cheers to Madison Smith. I have her bracelet with the ducky and a.
That's beautiful. And how are you going to make me cry to start the show off? That's not fair, but
she's
what
amazing.
A beautiful toast. Thank you for doing that.
Incredible golfer, and he has touched and continues to touch everyone. So hopefully she's down here giving me some good stuff.
What a wonderful toast. Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Bonnie, I don't feel like segueing from that topic, but we have to. What kind of a toast do you, and what a...
She's wonderful, isn't she?
Yeah, how do we... I mean, I'm having a loss for words right now because how do you segue from another toast after bringing that up, MC? But Bonnie, we have to do it. So a toast for you?
A toast for me. I mean, if we're going that way, I'd toast to my family. I love them dearly. I feel lucky that we are all together, and we might be miles apart, but I love my family very much. And that's like the closest thing I could have to something as profound as what MC and her friends have gone through.
Both
in the
beautiful.
Last, year.
Thank you so much for sharing that. All right, cheers to everyone. Cheers to... Makes it sound good for those listeners on Spotify right now, not just watching on YouTube. Just
That is not the one from college.
it better not be.
Nice.
That's really good.
All right, so we've done all the hard stuff now, the sips and the toast. So let's get into manufacturing, the topic that we all love and Christian gets bored of, but we're going to excite him here today by jumping right into the IMTS stuff. And how I want to lead you into this is just by realizing that there are a lot of trade shows every few years, right? And IMTS is kind of that staple in the U.S. I've grown up for the last 25 years in manufacturing and had the honor for the last, 12, 14 years to be a part of IMTS as well. And what I've noticed is there's a constant evolution in what is considered to be a traditional industry that doesn't like a whole lot of change. I would make the discussion that you ladies and your team at AMT and IMTS are the most forward-thinking out there. And that doesn't mean that the other ones aren't doing great, but we're here to highlight what you are doing. So let's get excited. And what are we doing this year in September 2024 that might be new and exciting as a part of IMTS? Bonnie, can we start with you?
Sure, you can start with me. So IMTS, we always talk about trying to be forward thinking, and we're planning IMTS before we close our doors for the next 2 years, which, I mean, a lot of people hear that, and we actually do it. And I think the other part that makes IMTS special, like, we have these amazing exhibitors and they bring their best of the best, and you can't ask for anything more than what they already do. But then we also have our partners that help us produce the show. And I mean, without them, like our general contractor, our AV, like everybody that goes around, and I've been in charge of partnerships for a long, long time, and I didn't really understand what that meant until you start talking to like Oak Ridge National Labs, and you start talking to Manufacturing USA, and then you talk to a bunch of there's another like other trade shows that, not trade shows, but trade associations that are in manufacturing that like they want to be part of IMTS. And we make it a little easier than I think other shows can, because we are so large. We try to build the larger community. We try to bring everybody in. And because of that, I've been able to open doors for so many different, whether you're a company trying to like do a new conference or get a new business, or just like we have our Emerging Technology Center, which I started working with because I had an idea many years ago. And then Peter's like, here, you got it now. So I have to come up with a new idea every 2 years. And it's not just me, it's this group of people that are always like, hey, what are this? It's just trying to work. The community part is the biggest part. It's like Oak Ridge National Labs is like, hey, we have a new idea. What do you think? And they work on it for 6 to 8 months before they even talk to me about it. And then they get it figured out, and they're like, hey, will this be what IMTS is looking for? And I look at IMTS, I call her a she, because I probably because I'm a woman, but I've always thought of like just giving light to new opportunities and letting people shine. And I feel like that's what we try to do at IMTS.
I like that you said that, and I'll go with you as well and say it can be a she, because the she's are the creators, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't have life without women.
That's
so absolutely can be a she. And I love your perspective on community, because I think it's important to a lot of us who really want the industry itself to thrive. There's a lot of devotion that we give, and community, I think, is a big part of that. So let me say thank you for that. MC, what are you most excited about? And as Bonnie said, you ladies have been working for 2 years. I mean, I remember the day the door shut, and I thought you were going to take a break. You ladies did not. It was full speed ahead for 2 years from that point, which we're almost at now. What are you most excited about? What have you worked on to create more excitement for 2024?
So my main role at IMTS Plus, which came about when I joined AMT, and so it's the place, it's a community, space where we tell the stories about the people behind the technology. And for me, it's incredible, because I spent 20 years in ski and snowboard industry, and community in ski and snowboard is incredible. I mean, it's what binds it. And it was an amazing 20 years. And, our president from Snow Sports Industries America, David Ingemy, was my mentor forever as he saw me grow up. I've never met another person like that until I met Peter Eelman. And when you talk about the evolution of the show and how there are shows that IMTS seems to stand out because it always is continuing to evolve, it's Peter Eelman is I mean, it's a team for sure. But when I first met Peter, I had always heard about him and heard about IMTS. And when I spoke with him, it was this sense of calm. And I was like, wow, this is what I felt at Ski Snowboard. And so, to answer your question, I mean, what I'm looking most forward to is to see everyone and to feel that community space. And a few months after I started working with AMT, my close friends who I've known forever and ever, and I, know my passion for skiing as I grew up with it and lived out in Colorado for a while, they said, I think you might like manufacturing better than ski snowboard. And I go, I think you're right.
Stop it, do you?
Yes. I mean, I love skiing snowboard, but you know what makes skiing snowboard?
Manufacturing, yeah.
Manufacturing. So yeah, it's incredible. And so I mean, for me, and working alongside Bonnie has been incredible because she has been at AMT for a while and has this just amazing connection with people and ability to spot those relationships and partnerships, and that's what's been, I mean, so just incredibly cool and fulfilling and exciting. Our like you, meeting these new partners and being able to build. It's not just a flash in the pan. These are long-term relationships and partnerships that we work towards, and yeah.
Yeah, that's very well said. And I'm going to talk more about IMTS Plus because that is kind of the evolution of in-person trade shows. How can we have that commitment and that friendship year-round in the digital world? So we'll talk about that because you guys did some fun like tour videos with a father-son duo, and there's some cool stuff on there. So we'll talk about that in just a minute. Bonnie, one thing I like that I don't think is accepted at some of the other events that I've been to, but you have seemed to adapt it really well, is thought leadership, influencers, main stages, creating activities that attract people and a younger generation, I might add, because Christian, this part's for you. Trade shows used to be, say, a week-long trade show used to be 2 weeks. And it used to be 2 weeks because people would come in, say, pre-internet days, and bring their prints and discuss their prints and how machines can make those prints work and how parts could be manufactured. There was a true sit-down conversation because it wasn't really able to be done through the modern technology we have today. So in time, trade shows have started to reduce the overall time that we spend there because it's not quite as necessary. But in doing so, a lot of the tradition has remained, although the time frame has reduced. And I would say that this group here is probably the most forward thinking of that. So I've kind of built this foundation now, Bonnie. You lead the way, in my opinion, because I don't see a lot. Thought leaders, influencers, main stage. I think there's an after hours lounge this year that we've discussed as well. Where does all this creativity come from, and what inspires you to pursue these non-traditional aspects that we seem to be falling in love with?
Yeah. So I've been at IMTS so long. I was there when it was Wednesday to Wednesday. So we had Sundays half off, and so I dated myself a little bit, but I was there when it was, and it used to be longer than that. But so I was there when it changed the time to just, Monday to Saturday, which was a huge change for IMTS and exhibitors. Some were happy and some were like, whoa, that's a lot. But, but I think, and I will say, MC's already brought him up, but Peter Eelman, he brought me on to do websites back in 1999 for IMTS. So I started the IMTS website, which dates me even older. But
we're not counting, Bonnie. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So
Old is cool.
Old is cool.
That's right.
It's all this wisdom and this knowledge that I have. I need to get it out. But so his vision as like a leader and a mentor for me for 20 some years, he's really expanded my mind to try to look for the different things that are out there that are different. So like, and I don't know if I'm going to answer your question here, but I was thinking of, as I've grown, because I came in as a website manager, now I'm vice president of strategic partnerships and content.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's a huge role for AMT, and I love my job, which is why I've been here for so long. But I also enjoy, he's a great boss. Just gave me the ropes to do whatever. But his vision and allowing me to grow my vision and to grow where I see something that's as MC said earlier, I spot things, and he'll hear me, he'll listen, and that, I mean, that's a huge part of where IMTS is. I know he's getting ready to retire. So
No.
I know. But, you know, he's taught myself and Michelle and MC and, you know, his legacy of people that like support his vision and where he sees the show going and where's manufacturing going. But it's trying to be ahead of where things are. And as AMT, we try to, we try to, at least in my role, I try to show manufacturing, like if you're a smaller company, you don't have time to look at the future sometimes. And we try to bring that to the show so that when they take their 2 days off of working and making things and trying to be successful in their companies, to be like, oh, wow, I might be able to do that. And you've got the people there that you can talk to. So that's what IMTS for my role has been for a long time, is just trying to show like this is where things are going. It might be 30 years down the road or 50.
We'll get there though.
Or it might be in 2 years, but it's the education aspect. And workforce education is very different than like inspiration and trying to see these are new technologies that are coming down the pike, and you can't use it right now, but you might be able to use it in 5 years. And how can you adapt? And how can you start thinking about or talking to the right people? And that's where like I see my role is trying to giving people the opportunity to be educated. So.
Well, Bonnie, the gift and the curse of working with me is my brain sprawls into all sorts of different branches of questions based on what you just said. Firstly, let me just say, Peter, we love you. You are a legend, a legacy. Absolutely. You've had 2 shout outs from your amazing women here. In fact, when I first invited MC and Bonnie onto the show, they're like, don't you want Peter? And I'm like, well, I do. But women in manufacturing, ladies, we need to get women in manufacturing more notice. So hopefully, Peter, you will join me at some point. But I had to have you 2 on here. Another part of that is the student side of things and student summit that you do. And I want to talk about that more. I'm going to jump into the IMTS Plus before we jump back into that as well, because I want to keep this conversation going between all 3 of us at the same time. But the student summit, I want to think that we're doing enough for the next generation, but I often question my own self in the mirror every day. Am I? Are we, as associations, as families, as teams, are we really reaching them? And we have great voices out there. We're all trying our best, but are we making it? I've asked Christian a dozen times, what do we do? Well, make it cool and sexy. Well, we're darn sure trying, Christian. We're working on it. As MC said, cool is sexy. All right, so I mean, old is cool. How do we say it?
Old is cool.
Old is cool.
It's sexy too.
Yeah, it is. That's right. That's right. So I'm going to jump back into the student side of things because that is a passion of mine. But I want to first start with the kind of the branches of IMTS Plus, because I agree with you. This is how we connect year long. This is how we share stories more than a week. I mean, we want to shake hands. We're in an industry where we're high-fiving each other, slapping each other on the butt. I mean, we're cheering each other on, but we're cheering people on that already know about it. How do we get to the people who don't, right? And IMTS Plus has been doing a wonderful job at that. So can we talk about the creativity, kind of the start of it, what it is now, and what the future looks like for the plus side of things?
Sure. I mean, I'm going to have to lean on Bonnie for this too, because IMTS Plus was incepted before I ever started at AMT with Peter and Travis, I think, right? Peter and Travis.
Well, it depends on how far you want to go back.
I don't know. How do we go?
Those are the 2 most popular current faces, though, right?
We'll
Would be Peter and
we'll
Travis.
Take 2 of those guys. And from what I understood, it came out of when the show was canceled during COVID, and IMTS put on this Spark that I was at with the plastics industry and was watching them from afar, and I honestly don't know how anyone survived that.
It was in 2020, right?
Yeah.
I remember that.
No,
yeah.
Their Spark. I mean, it was incredible. I mean, it was this like, yeah. So after that, they realized like, wow, there is, a platform, a space to continue this and tell these stories. And so it's evolved where, as AMT, as IMTS, we have that ability to bring the community together, or we go out to the community and say, hey, can we work with you, or can we tell your story? We're not trying to be that super technical, Gardener Industry Week, those types. We do want to tell the stories and get the cool out there, and there are incredible, so many, like I said before, incredible people that are in this industry, and there are a lot of really incredible young people that are coming up in this industry, and of course, there's a lot more to be done when you're saying, but I feel like people are taking notice. I mean, even like with my son, he's 10, And I brought him to IMTS in 2022, and he'll be back in 2024, and hopefully your daughter's going to come. And
We'll work on that.
He's been, I mean, he said he wants to be an engineer. He wants to go to McGill for engineering or Clemson. And his eyes, he tells everyone about it. You know, I go to the school with Stephen Lamarca and talk about manufacturing. And I've learned there are these kids, there are three girls that he's friends with that are in like 6th grade. They all want to do science and engineering.
They're in STEM.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
And that's what, and they want to be engineers when they grow up. And then my two of my close friends, one son is at Bucknell, her daughter's going into Maryland. They're going for engineering and science. I mean, it is happening out there, and there's so much exciting things that are happening in manufacturing technology, and you know, whether it's from, you know, space or digital or automation or software or, you know, aerospace, whatever we want to defense, you know, the everyday consumer. It's just, it's an incredible space to be. So back to IMTS Plus, we want to tell those stories and to tell it out to the community though, because we want to introduce, you know, everyone to everyone. I mean, because that's what IMTS is every 2 years. Everyone gets together. It's the largest, you know, manufacturing show in the Western Hemisphere. And you're face to face and you get to know one another. You get to talk, you get to hear. And so how do we continue telling those stories when IMTS doesn't happen?
So I'm gonna continue on this. I'm gonna still stick you under the gun, MC. I'm sorry, Bonnie. Don't worry. We'll get back to you soon. Oh, you got something to say, Bonnie?
Well, I want her to
I
talk
like it.
about her passion project.
Okay, we'll get to that. But I wanted to bring up that you made a post not too long ago. Here we are, next gen manufacturer, and the post is from the Daily Mail. Gen Z is shunning college to take up traditional trades, and you got a lot of reviews and comments on that.
Yeah.
Did you learn anything from what people were giving you feedback from that post?
Well, I do have to add one thing. I love the Daily Mail, UK Daily Mail.
Okay,
I read
yeah.
it just about every day. And there are some in my, not Bonnie, some in my company at work, and not Peter, that kind of say, Daily Mail, really? Is that real? And I'm like, yeah. So when I posted
So first
this,
things first.
I was like, yeah, Daily Mail's awesome. It was incredible. It was cool when I saw it on there. And I was like, wow, this is global. Like, Daily Mail is known for, tabloids and all that. And they're talking about, you know,
The
Gen
same
Z
thing
and
we are.
manufacturing.
Yeah.
And I just, and yeah, the comments that went back and forth were amazing. I mean, it was super fun. And you just feel the electricity that's out there.
So Bonnie, should I slide over and talk student stuff with you, or should we ask about the passion project first?
I think asking about the passion project, because one of your
Yeah.
questions was, how do we reach the younger generation?
Well, I don't want to leave you out, and I like to go back and forth, but let's talk about this
I'm-
passion project.
I'm good with MC's passion project, because it's
Really?
really
Let's hear about it. Well,
good.
I'm stoked. I can't wait to hear about this passion
Oh,
project.
no, now there's a lot of pressure.
No pressure at all.
It's a new series that we're launching on IMTS Plus, and it actually all came down when Bridget Spears over at Mazak invited Bonnie and me to Mazak Discover in October. And it was an incredible invitation. I mean, we'd never been before. Well, I'd never been because I just started it, and Bonnie said she hadn't been. And we go, and it's an incredible week that they put on. They bring in their customers, they bring in their partners. It's just, you know, we had one of our board members, Mike Chico, you know, is speaking and presenting. You know, it's very cool. Anyway, we were walking around, and in the hall, there's a beautiful guitar that has an M, you know, Yamazuki. And it's in this case, and I'm like, Bridget, what is that? And there's a video kind of playing, and there's ropes around it. And she said, oh, that's, you know, CF Martin, which is Martin Guitars. You know, we did a partnership with Mazak, Renishaw, and Martin, and that's the guitar, and this is Johnny Cash's case.
Okay.
And I said, wait, what do you mean? And so Bridget's the one that said, you know, there's a whole correlation between music and manufacturing. And I said, no, what do you mean? And she said, yeah, you know, the tempo, the notes, the beats, all of that. And so anyway, I said, is there any way I could learn more about this? Because this would be an awesome story for IMTS Plus, like showing this partnership, this passion for music. And Bill Curtis at Mazak and Dan Schoolin over at Renishaw are friends with Lou Gaffredo over at Martin. Lou comes to IMTS each year. They have, it's, you know, one of the oldest guitar manufacturers around, hand craftsmanship. There's nothing to compromise the hand craftsmanship, but you know, you move with the technology on some. They came up with this idea, would it be possible, because there's a It's called phrasing, and it's where the mother of pearl is inlaid, and it was hand cut by this woman Mercedes, and it's amazing, and it's dangerous. I mean, it's hand cut, and she's doing that. They came up, Renishaw with the software, Mazak with the machine, Martin with the guitar, and they've beautifully handcrafted, and they inlay handcrafted, but it's where they inlay all the mother of pearl. So anyway, this series is called Passion Project, where it brings people's passions together with manufacturing. And so our first episode that'll debut in June is about this one with Martin, Mazak, and Renishaw. And we went up there to shoot. Michael Mark, our videographer, and Travis Egan was the interviewer. And they're just incredibly passionate, all three of them. And they did convince me I bought a Martin guitar for my husband, Victor, for his birthday for the next 10 years.
Stop it.
I did.
Oh my gosh. And this comes out in June, you said?
It's going to come out in June, yes. And it's and we'll have a feature article, and it'll run at IMTS on the main stage. And then we're having Lou, Bill, and Dan on the main stage. And Travis is going to interview on them, and we might have a couple Martin guitars that people can play out in the IMTS Plus afterwards.
I know a few folks in our industry that love to play guitars as well.
We're gonna identify all those musicians in manufacturing, and that's what bring it all back around to Bridget. She said if you go in, and Bill and Dan, confirm this too, and others have heard. You go into a manufacturing plant or a job shop or a company, and you say, "Does anyone play music here?" And so, talking about workforce and the younger generation, we go tap into those musicians. I mean, Metallica started this foundation, I forget how many years ago, all within my hands. The band members started it with the management. And they've put in thousands of dollars into technical colleges for Metallica scholars. And they're all, not the band, but all within my hands, though, it's going to be on our main stage as well, talking about that music and manufacturing. I mean, it's a whole base of workforce. And cool.
I did research for my next opportunity because I wanted to write a book. And I came across this statistic that 70% of small business owners want to fund their retirement through the sale of their business, when in fact only 20% of them actually had a saleable business. And it broke my heart anticipating the fact that baby boomers, there was a light at the end of the tunnel, and in fact it was a train. And so I really wanted to do something about that. So I wrote a book called Scaling the Exit. The purpose of the book was to articulate a strategy for small to medium-sized business owners to increase the value of their business to the extent that they could actually sell it and fund their retirement. And that was really the first iteration of what became EBITDA Growth Systems and our brand promise, which is to double the valuation of small, medium-sized businesses, specifically in terms of an exit, but double their valuation, or we give them their money back.
Well, MC, that's why we need people like you, is because it offers outside perspectives when we've been sitting in an industry for so long. So we need freshness. At any age and any time, we need that freshness. Bonnie, let's slide over now back to IMTS itself and talk about the student side of things, because MC just kind of let us in perfectly for that segue, connecting. I know Greg Jones is a good friend of both of ours, and they do a really wonderful job of creating a student summit. And you guys, again, back to community, bringing everything full circle, have done a wonderful job of supporting that piece of information that needs to be done, right? So labor shortage, it's a buzzword. How do we make it cool? It's a buzzword. It's a situation. So let's talk about the Student Summit. Let's talk about that interactive event. And what would, if someone listening right now, and let me go back real quick. If you're a musician, reach out to MC and get on that project so you can play guitars at IMTS.
Please
then now back to this. What can the students look forward to, whether it be speakers, whether it be technology, whether it be whatever it is that you're kind of showcasing at this event, that these new students coming in, as apparently they're shunning them, university, according to the Daily Mail, shunning university and coming to these events, what can they be excited about?
So the SmartForce Student Summit, IMTS, is the largest student event in I think, North America, at least, for anything manufacturing focused. We've had, at the most, 20,000 students run through that program. It's amazing. And we partner with national labs, we partner with the schools, we partner with the exhibitors. Like, there's so many exhibitors. I don't even know how many. It's not even finished yet. So like exhibitors are still trying to figure out, okay, can I do my main booth and then also a student program? And then what am I going to do that's cool, that's students will enjoy? Because like America Makes last time did, where you can make a little heart and then, you know, it's like 3D print a heart. Like, and I know NASA's going to be there with this huge presence. And I think space is always interesting. I mean, space was interesting to me when I was a kid, and I didn't think I would ever be an engineer, and I'm not. So, but space is always cool, like something cool, like, ooh, going to the moon, going, you know, anything like that. So NASA's going to be there. And then we've got some other things that I can't talk about yet, but, you know, we've also got like podcast booths. So like if you wanted to do one of your podcasts and talk to students or any of the colleges or the teachers, you could certainly do that. We're opening that up. But, you know, it's hard to... It's not hard. The energy down the Student Summit, they're all really excited. We have an astronaut coming. We've also got like she's going to be in the women's program for IMTS, but she's not an astronaut. But I think she like runs NASA's like launch area
She's big.
in
It
the
sounds like a big
Florida.
deal, yeah.
Yeah, like there's some big stuff coming, and it's like I don't have all the little details, but it's going to be a really good show. No matter if you're a student or if you're you know, an adult coming. Actually, you know what? So my son is interning at IMT this summer.
He's amazing.
And he's having a great time. And, you know, he's gone to IMTS since he was 2. Just always gone because I'm there and my husband takes off and brings the kids along. But he's interning, and he got an email from one of the guys who's one of our Star Club members. And a Star Club member is someone who's been to IMTS 4 times in a row. So that's at least 8 years in a row you've thought about IMTS, come to IMTS, and they get some special privileges. And he emails and he goes, hey, I've got my son is coming up. Is it okay if I bring him? You know, how do I get him registered? You know, and he's so proud of his son. He's like, you know, the future is in our children. And he's right. And so we let him know about the Student Summit, making sure he was aware of it. Because there's not really an age limit. Like, we have elementary through college go to the Student Summit. So the good thing is it's a huge range. So if you're a college student and you're still trying to figure out what you want to do, come to IMTS. Like, and my brother, who is a computer engineering, my brother-in-law, who's a computer engineer, he came to IMTS. Was like, whoa, I wish I knew about this when I was younger. And he worked at AOL for a long time. Like that's where people don't know manufacturing's here. And we've got to get the word out. But I also think, like, my point of bringing to my son was, like, he's helping with Instagram reels and posts and all that stuff. So, you know, they're going to be able to help us reach the younger generation. Because I don't know if our older brains are going to get us there. But the kids coming in, if you listen to them, you might be able to reach that audience. And that's, I think, what we need to remember, too. It's like a different perspective.
Yeah, Bonnie, that's, in my opinion, and knowing you in the amount of time that I've known you, is one of your superpowers, is your ability to look at other people and go, you have something valuable that I can learn from you. And that's part of the recognizing that MC brought up as well. I can keep talking about IMTS, and I want to, and I know the audience probably wants me to as well, but I want to learn more about both of you, and we probably could talk forever, but I don't think Christian will let us. You know, we have a set amount of studio time here. Yeah, he's shaking his head no. As much as he loves us, we have a time. So I would love for you to share some of your personal stories, maybe how you got here or some of your favorite parts of the adventure so far. MC, yours might be a little shorter in manufacturing, so tell us about skiing. I hope you take me snowboarding sometime. When I was 21 years old, I tried to do a flip on a snowboard and knocked myself out and went snoring down the hill. So I could probably use a little practice. I did try. Well, that's because I was a lifeguard for 7 years and I was doing it all off of a diving board without thinking that my snowboard would slow me down. And it did. So there's that. But I would love to hear more about your journey. The reason we have you here today, not only just to amplify MTS's voice, is to amplify women in manufacturing. We want more of that. We want more diversity in general, just so I can say that for everyone. Predominantly, I would be the stereotype. I'm the old white male, and we want more of everyone. For everyone who's listening out there, we need you. We want you. Manufacturing is a great, great place to work. So with that being said, hopefully I've given you a little bit of time to think about some of your stories. Let's see, who haven't we heard from the most recently with no pressure? Yeah, pointed at Bonnie. Start with Bonnie. MC's throwing you under the bus. No, I'm just kidding. But let's talk a little bit about your story, and it can be some of your favorite parts that you've experienced during your time, or it could be what inspired you to get into it, or however you want to describe it. But I am interested to learn more.
Okay, so we were reading all your questions on the way here.
Have we
and-
used any of those yet?
No, not yet. No,
We haven't used a single question.
this is the closest, but it's not. It's not one of.
This is number one.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think so. It's a little bit of both.
That's number one.
No, it's not. Okay, this is why we get along so well.
Yeah, I can tell. Make each other better.
Yeah. I think it's a combo of a few questions.
sure.
So for me, oh God, here we go. Okay, so my favorite part, I've been working in, number one, I am, as I've said before, I'm not an engineer, but one of my skill sets, and I learned it when I was younger because I started doing websites. Political science. I was like a political science major.
Were you?
Yeah, I know.
You serious? I was too.
I was at economics and
Are
political
we all
science.
just figuring this out right now?
Yes. I mean, I was a Spanish minor. Habla español.
And you didn't do French?
Claro que sí. No, I got tired.
She always wants to live in France.
do.
But so economics, poli science, I tried to do politics, and it was fun for a little bit. But then they started doing website stuff. Again, I worked for a trade association. So, it was a trade association trying to figure out how to do a website. And I was on the team, and I totally understood what they were trying to do. And then I could talk to the coders and the people that were building the sites, and I'd be like, oh yeah, I get it. And then I would then communicate to everybody else. Like, this is what they're trying to do. And that skill set, which I don't know how I have it or why I have it, that's just how my brain works, has transferred from, because I got hired to do websites for IMTS, to being able to understand, like, when you're talking to an engineer, when you're talking to, like, if I'm talking to Tom Kerfus or Lonnie Love, I get what they're saying, and they're also really good at explaining, to people who aren't engineers. But, like, if I talk to them, or even, I can understand it. I can't go too deep. I can go a little deep. But if you get too deep, I'm like, oh, I'm out.
She goes pretty deep.
But I can understand it, I can relate it, and I can bring it back to how does it affect what I do as for my job. So that skill set, I don't know what that's called, but I've been really good at it for a long time. So one of the big things I did, so I finally was able to go to like an AMT annual meeting back in the early 2000s. And I listened to one of the speakers, and it happened to be Jay Rogers, and he had just started Local Motors, and we had him as one of our visionary speakers. And as I was listening to him, I was like, "Ooh, wow, you can build and at that point it was a rally fighter. You can build a vehicle in 6 days, and IMTS is 6 days." So I said, "Oh, wow, I think we could have that at IMTS." So I went to Peter and I told him the idea, and I had to tell him like 3 or 4 times because he's like, yeah, okay. And then he sent me over to somebody, and he's like, yeah, you guys go figure it out. And then I wouldn't give it up. Like, it was one of those like, no, I really think this could happen. I mean, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I was just like, wow, this sounds great. So anyway, we did the rally fighter.
And you heard a rumor around it could be done in 6 days, so you're sticking to it.
6 days, man. It's going to be happening at our trade show.
Right.
And it did. It happened, and we got it to work out. And Jay and Local Motors and that whole team, we built a rally fighter, and it was fun. And then we were still talking to him because that's the Emerging Technology Center. So you want to do something cool and unique and something interesting. And for the trade show perspective, building something on a trade floor from the beginning, from nothing to something, and then driving it off, that's impressive.
That is very impressive.
You
yeah.
can't usually do that. So that was that. And then the next time it was the 3D printing the Stratty, with the 3D printing a vehicle for the first time. It's in the world record book, but that was Jay Rogers.
Today's show.
On the Today Show. Yeah, that was Jay Rogers and Oak Ridge and Cincinnati
Love.
Incorporated, Lonnie Love, like
Rick Neff.
Yeah, that was.
I love
Cincinnati.
shameless name dropping. Keep going.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
And it was.
We're gonna tag all these people in this post.
It was Thermwood too. Thermwood helped out. They did at that point. Thermwood didn't have a additive manufacturing machine. They were doing the machining to make it look pretty, which was great. But so just that, and going to the Today Show. Like, I went to the Today Show with Peter. We went up, and he's like, we're driving up, and we're getting there, and he's like, I never thought manufacturing would ever be on this open stage of this is just humans watching normal TV. Like, never thought manufacturing would ever make it this far.
Right.
And that's what IMTS did with our partnerships, with our being able to think out of the box. And I mean, it was not an easy project. It was the most fun. I've been great friends with every single one of them. If they call me or I call them, like, you pick up the phone, you email them back, like, that's where I love my job, because I can meet people like you. I met you, like, you were one of those people where I was like, ooh, Tony Gunn. I've heard a lot about Tony Gunn. I've watched his stuff. How do we meet Tony Gunn? How do we get Tony Gunn involved with IMTS? And that's where my head was before 22. And then I ended up meeting you on site by complete accident, because I was like, oh, actually, no, it wasn't an accident. They were like, Tony's going to do a live show. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to go meet Tony. And I walked down there.
You did. And then you said to me, you have to meet Tony.
Yeah.
He's really cool.
You're both amazing. You're both amazing. Thanks for that shameless name drop as well.
No problem.
I'm going to give you a little bit of love for all of that, by the way. Yeah.
There goes my mic.
That's all right.
I'm
Mics
good at
can
that.
be pulled back, and high fives need to be given a nice bit of effort, so the people who are listening on Spotify can also hear that we were high fiving the heck out of that one.
Yeah. Next time I'll do my left hand.
Let's do it. Oh, no. That was way better. All right, we got it. We finally got it. Third time's a charm. All right, MC, we've heard a bit of Bonnie's story, her excitement. How inspiring is that?
She's amazing.
Very much like you did your toast and left us all under the bus. She may have just left you there as well.
Easily. What she didn't add is this year at IMTS, it's the 10-year anniversary of building the Strati at IMTS, and so there's a lot of like cool stuff that's happening. And in the AMT magazine this month, there's a feature article about the 10-year anniversary and building the strategy and telling that story. And so there'll be more of it in September.
I love what you guys do by bringing everything full circle. I mean, the 2 years ago, or a year and a half, I guess, based on when this is recorded, a year and a half ago, there were just banners of thought leaders everywhere, and just a good vibe of the center stage and people podcasting and talking about stuff. So what you're describing to me, that there's another aspect of, guess what we did, guess what's coming. It really is just one of those shows, as you say in the beginning of this whole podcast, was getting together, spending time together, seeing these things. So, MC, 20 years of skiing and snowboarding, what the heck brought you here?
Hey everybody, Mike Franz here with Shop Floor Coffee. For 20 years, we've been seeing the same issues going on with workforce development and the shortage in workers across the industry. We wanted a way to give back. Shop Floor Coffee is our way to do that. Proceeds from every bag or every type of coffee you buy from us go back to the community. We work with amazing programs and initiatives across the country where we're giving back. We want to help support the community. Come together with us. Join us in this effort to help support the community. Please, thank you very much.
That's when I worked. I've been skiing since I was 3. I only worked. Well, no, I guess I worked for 22 years. I don't know. Let's see. I went to Telluride, Colorado for 2 years after college. I majored in political science, which great major. I didn't really do anything with it. So I went to Telluride, Colorado, and my parents were fully. I taught skiing and worked at the golf course, and as a cart barn girl, and they were very supportive. Until they said one day, like, we love what you're doing. We love visiting you. If you can just pay for your health insurance and car insurance, that would be great. And I was like, oh, I did not come out here to work that hard. So I came back. I left right away during mud season in '96, and ended up moving to DC because I had several really close friends that lived there. One of my close friends, Molly, whose daughter I mentioned earlier on the podcast, who we had all been in Spain together in college. And I don't know, neighbor said, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And he said, work for a trade association. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah, work for a trade association. If you don't know what you want to do, you'll be in all different departments. And I was like, okay. So I got this job, which this is funny, talking about how things come full circle.
Full circle, yeah.
At the American Society for Engineering Educators. Can you believe that? Yeah. So in '96, I worked there for 2 years till '98, and then someone told me, who I worked with, who wasn't really into skiing, but she knew I love skiing. She said, "Hey, there's the skiing association here in Virginia." And I was like, "What?" I was like, No. It's out in Colorado. The one in Colorado is like the Ski Resorts Association and the ski instructors and patrol and snowboard instructors. And she said, No, it's here. So I looked it up, and it was in Tyson's Corner, literally like 2 blocks away from where AMT is. And I faxed a blind resume to the president and said, I've loved skiing since I was 3, and I taught skiing in Telluride, Colorado, and it's my passion. And if you have a job, I'd love it. And they called me like a month later for a membership coordinator job.
Do you think that's how they read it as well as how you sent it?
No, they said, I love skiing. I have a
There you
passion
go.
for
There
it.
it is.
I'm a really hard worker, and I'm going to turn this place into awesome. Yes. So I got a job there, and I ended up working there for 20 years. A lot of us had worked there for a very long time. Some people 30 years. It was an incredible place to be. It was just like an AMT, but for ski, snowboard, outdoor gear, cross-country, snowshoe. We put on the largest show in the Western Hemisphere for ski, snowboard. It was in Vegas for 40 years, which was quite fun. And then we went to Denver, which is really fun too, and had an on-snow demo. And then the board wanted to move it to Park City. And so the association changed, and none of us went. So I was like, oh my gosh, I need a job. So I ended up working with the plastics industry for 5 years. And then Michelle Edmondson called me up, who I'd met Bonnie and Michelle like 17 years ago from associations in DC, because there's a lot of them. And I'd reconnected with Michelle when I was at Plastics through Gardner with Missy Klein and Rick Klein. And so Michelle called me up April 2021, and she just was, because we had canceled our show. They had to cancel their show the year before. And so she's like, yeah, you want to talk? And then at the end of it, she's like, so are you by chance looking for a job? And I was like, funny you say that. Yes, I am. And so she said, have you done anything in content? I was like, I mean, I'm content like marketing, and I run the show daily, and I did the magazine at SIA, show daily, and this and that. And she's like, okay, that's good, because we're starting a new content department. She's like, let me interview you. You interview with Peter. And that was when I said earlier, I interviewed with Peter, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like, he's like David Injemy, who I grew up with. So I answer long to your question. I fell into it. Skiing is still one of my incredible passions. I mean,
Every time I text you, you're off skiing.
that is not true.
MC, what are you up to? I'm off skiing for the weekend. I'll text you on Monday.
That is true.
There's a lot of
It'll stop now.
a lot of manufacturing that goes into it. But yeah, I mean, I fell into manufacturing, which is interesting because you hear these stories. I mean, Bonnie just said it, although I think she was always meant to be, because her brain was set in that whole technical bit. Mine, not so much. But I fell into it, and it's incredible. And again, I just, it's something when you all were talking about the student summit, when my husband Victor brought Max, my son, in 2022, and to IMTS, and he met Drew and Whitney Crow and their kids, and they were running around and doing some fun things in the student summit. And Max was totally into BattleBots. Like when I took him out to Mount Snow, just the two of us, for a weekend, and we got up there late, and we turned on the TV, and it's BattleBots. And I hadn't seen it before, but he loved it. So we watched like 2 hours of BattleBots. We go to IMTS, and his number one BattleBot witch doctor is there. That was Master Cam brought in the student summit.
Instant connection.
It was he was just like falling over, and the builder of
Was there
Witch
also?
Doctor was there, and Max talked to him over and over, and it was incredible. And the other thing I want to say up on the show floor is we went into Fanuc, and there's this guy Dean, and I'm blanking on his last name, said, "Hey, does your son want to learn how to program a robot?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Max, you want to learn how to program a robot?" And he was 9 at the time, and he's like, "Okay." And Stacy Haramoto came over, and she's incredible from Fanuc. And she got down with him and kind of kneeled down, taught Max how to program a robot. And the expression on his face is just the coolest thing. And manufacturing had him. I mean, it was, and then last year I did a presentation to Max's school, to 2 4th grade classes and 1 first grade. And I asked Stephen LaMarca to come with me because I needed some cool. As Max reminded me.
You needed some cool.
They all only like Stephen LaMarca. I was like, no. And I called up, I sent a text to John Toohey at Fanuc, and I said, hey, I have a really ask for you, and it might be out of line, and I apologize. But is there any way I could get a few of the model robots? I'm doing this presentation for Max's class and just for this class. John Toohey FedEx that day, 21 robots, model robots for Max's class. And I have the photo. And these kids hand wrote these thank you cards, which I shared with him and our show committee members. It was incredible. They drew the robot. They drew Spot. I had on the presentation the U.S. Wilson 3D printed basketball. They saw cool like they had never. And there was a young girl that wrote that said, I had always wanted to be a chef, but now I think I want to be a scientist because of you.
Shut up when you're talking to me.
It was
That's
pretty
amazing.
cool. It was awesome.
Shout out to John for that, by the way.
It was awesome.
Shall we play some games, ladies?
Yes.
Yeah?
Sure.
All right, so we're going to do 2 truths and a lie, which means both of you individually are going to tell me 2 of your truths and 1 of your lies. And I have to try and figure out what it is. Christian already knows that I don't think I've ever got this game right, so no pressure at all. Christian, I'm going to let you guess as well. Also, because we have a special guest in the audience today, Rihanna, I'm going to have her talk on the mic today at the end of the show, just to see if we've inspired her enough to maybe consider. She's doing some really cool stuff in her own life right now, but she sat around for the entire show. So I'm curious what her opinion is for the first time sitting in on manufacturing. So we're going to slide her over to the microphone. She had no idea I was going to request that of her, but both you ladies are so inspiring. We have to ask. Of course,
Can I
of
add
course.
something for Rihanna?
Sure,
Does
what you
she
got?
know there's a lot of 3D printing happening in fashion right now?
In fashion?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like big-
she does. She's shaking her head, yes.
Like big fashion. Yeah. There, I think we got her.
Well, I look forward to that answer. So hopefully I've been a long-winded enough to give you time to think about a couple of truths. And MC's already gasping like, oh, you didn't give me enough time. Bonnie, you're always cerebral, so I think you're ready to go. 2 truths and a lie. Give me your 2 truths and a lie in no particular order. I'll try to guess what's real and what's not. The audience, if you have a guess, please leave it in the comments. Christian, you guess as well. I'm going to pause after you give it to me and kind of go over what it may or may not be, just giving the audience a little bit of time to leave a comment as well to see if they're right. So,
I mean, after all these cards, we didn't practice that.
No.
We didn't practice the game.
We didn't
show
practice
the
game.
audience, so for everyone watching right now, look at all those cards
Notes.
and no 2 truths and a lie.
Forgot to practice the game.
This is why I use an iPad.
This is MC's game. So
Oh, yours is truth or dare.
Yeah,
mine's
yeah.
truth or dare,
Yeah,
which
kick
is
that
just
off.
probably I'm trying to think of that one
Should
too.
I go to MC first and you give me a truth or dare?
I don't even know if it matters because here's my problem. I'm really a bad liar.
I am too.
Perfect. I might finally get one right.
It's hard for me to come up with lies. It's tried. Okay.
That's a good characteristic, by the way.
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah. We didn't practice. Okay. This is
No.
hard. Okay. This is hard, Tony. Okay. So I'm trying to think of. I've played this game before. Okay. All right. So I have. Oh, it's so hard.
I can do one.
You want
Okay,
to go
you
MC
do
go
it first,
first?
'cause
All right.
I'm-
Okay.
Go ahead. 2
getting
truths and a
old.
lie.
It's hard
MC.
not to say
You
something.
are not. Stop it. Old is sexy or whatever MC said
Exactly.
earlier.
Oh yeah, cool, sexy, awesome, like fantabulous. Okay, so my name, I mean it's MC, but it's actually Marie-Cécile Neville. So, and I've been a francophile since I was. I learned j'étudie français pour 10 ans quand I don't know. I can't remember how I say it, but I was 6 years old to like 15, 15 ans, and then I moved to Spanish and Español, which is I love it.
Muy bien.
Que guay. And so then, so when I was in 8th grade, I had alter ego named Danielle Klein, who had just stepped off the Paris runways and, the fashion, talk about fashion. And I've loved Paris ever. Like Le Petit Prince, I've been obsessed with it. We had a reading at our wedding with one of my close friends who speaks French. And I love Paris. It's my favorite place ever. I mean, although I haven't traveled around like you, so it's on my minimal travel scope. And so I was named after one of the first French Huguenots to cross the Atlantic to go to the South. My family's from South Carolina.
There's no way that could be a lie, can it, Christian? That was the longest.
So no, but it's not. That's all true.
Oh, this isn't part of the game yet.
No, but how French am I?
That's not how this game works.
That's what the question is.
I have to say yes or no if it's a lie or a truth. I don't know how French you
right.
are, but you certainly love it.
Not a drop. That's what it is. So I say all that because I thought I was like 95% en français or French. And then my husband bought on that stupid Amazon Cyber Day 23andMe for us for Christmas. And I said, I don't want it. He's like, why don't you want it? I was like, I don't care. I don't want it. I know I'm French. That's all. And his parents are straight off the boat from Naples, Italy. Do you wonder what he is? He's like 150% Italian. I'm like, why do you need 23andMe? He's like, let's just do it. Get the report. Have you looked at the report? No, I didn't look at the report. Why don't you look at the report? I don't care. I'm French. Look at the report.
Not French.
Not French. Not a drop. Not a drop. I mean, not even like 0.5%.
So what did you learn?
It was torque away my dreams. Are you kidding? It's devastating.
And what background are you?
German and English.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Well, no, it's fine, but it's
not French.
It's not Paris.
And there goes all your okay.
But
that
I
is
am-
not
I
how we
wanted-
play this game, but that was a way
100%.
better version. Christian, we should move on, right? That's
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I heard like 5 different languages. I think I heard a truth. Might have been a lie.
what we learned is that she's not French and she wants to be French, and she can
Yes.
speak French and
bien.
Spanish. We learned a lot.
Un poquito. Un poquito.
Bonnie, was that enough time, or should we just skip your two? Do you want to do truth or dare?
Do
Are you going to
truth or
dare me
dare.
to do something for IMTS? Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
God, but what is? I see. I was focusing on my lies.
Okay.
Oh, do the lies.
Okay, then let's do it. Let's continue with our
she's
game.
got some good lies from high school.
Oh gosh.
Oh, not lies, they're truths, actually.
What is?
She's gonna scare me.
Where are we
Okay.
going? I love
No,
this.
no. Okay, so things I like to do. I figured that might be stuff
sure.
that I do.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, this
so
works.
I love to go skydiving because I love being like free and open, and it's awesome. And that also goes with horseback riding. So I love horseback riding, and I also love to do like rock climbing stuff. So, you decide what's true and what's fake.
Audience, first you. Leave it in the comments. What's true, what's not? Christian, what do you think, buddy?
That's a tough one. I think the lie is rock climbing, but I don't know. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with. Oh, Bonnie, what do I know about you? I don't think you like to skydive. I think you like to rock climb and horseback ride. Which one's the lie?
Do I have to answer?
We would like to know.
Okay, all right. So I do not like skydiving.
Hey, I finally got one right. It's our first time in however many episodes we've done. Finally. It's been like years. Thank you, Bonnie. You're right. You are a bad liar. Thank
Yeah.
you for being a bad liar. We
You're
love
probably-
trustworthy people.
Maybe you're just good at seeing the truth and people who know how to tell the truth. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know how to play the game now.
Oh, no, you want to play again now and
I
see.
understand. I was confused.
Should we give it another chance, Christian? Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
I like how Bonnie went.
You got to keep it short though.
Yeah.
I can.
You're a storyteller. That whole thing that you did was not even how we play the game.
But did you create a little?
Oh, it was
film in your head?
fantastic. Oh, most definitely. Yeah. I wish it was rolling right here on this big TV we had.
We can do it in Paris next time.
Yes, please.
It's a great additive show, a number of shows in Paris. Okay, so not only did I grow up, skiing, but I loved everything winter. I loved the Olympics, all of it. And so I started ice skating when I was, because Dorothy Hamill. I mean, I grew up with Dorothy Hamill. Started ice skating when I was probably 5 or 6. And I was good, like really good. We'd skate at the Benfield Ice Rink with my best friend Francesca. I, Tonya is one of my favorite movies. I think I've seen it 4 times. It's incredible. So that's one. And then I gave it up. I mean, it's like, I don't have the body for it, probably. The other thing that I did sports growing up as well. Played lacrosse, field hockey, and track. I mean, I was a big runner. As you know, Travis Egan and his daughter Kylie and Bonnie was supposed to do it, but she had a foot problem issue. But we did the half marathon last week in Chicago, and so I always ran track, and I was fast. I mean, it was impressive. People were surprised, and I love to cook. It de-stresses me, and.
All right, Christian, I'm going with she does not love to cook because the other 2 stories were so long, and I know she ran, and she's been in snow. Do you think the ice skating one might be a lie because it was so long? And the first one?
I don't know. This is a tough one. Each one was so detailed, at least. but
Except for I like to cook, it de-stresses
except
me.
for the cooking one, but I feel like that could be a truth. Well, no, I think you might be right.
But I think you may have told me you do like to cook before. We text a lot. Damn it. What are you going with?
I don't know. I feel like the running one could be a lie, but I don't know.
It could
you
be,
kinda-
even though
kinda-
she did just run. It could be a lie. I'm going with cooking. I'm going with my original gut. What's the answer?
I love to cook. Julia Child is one of my favorite people. And to go off of Adam Walea, as he ended with a quote,
Yes, he did.
one of my favorite quote of all time is by Julia Child. Find something interested. So no, that's not it. I can't read my writing. Find something you're incredibly passionate about and keep tremendously interested in it. And I ice skated maybe a little bit. I hate running. I played field hockey lacrosse, but I was point and back fullback, which is the closest to the goal, so you don't have to run.
It was the running one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so.
And the ice skating.
Well, they're all lies apparently, except cooking. I got
Did
that.
you say two?
you
You,
got
said 2 lies and a truth, right?
Truth and a lie.
Oh shoot! I messed it up
I was
again.
gonna say.
still got it wrong.
I was gonna say because the first two were so detailed that like, and then the last one, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
That's
got it wrong
fantastic.
again.
That's fantastic. All right, we're just gonna do one of these as we're short on time, but they're called "Would You Rather." Bonnie, we'll start with you, and it's just kind of opposites. There's no real perfect situation, but what do you fancy most, right? So I've done it for like the marketing side of things. Number 38, because I got 40 of these, and we're only doing one, but number 38 of the 40 is, would you rather have an endorsement from a well-respected industry professional with a small following or a popular celebrity with no industry relevance?
The first one.
Yeah?
Yeah, because
Small and powerful.
we can help build.
Ooh, good answer. Good answer. MC, I got one for you as well.
I can't do that. I can't do that.
No, you don't get the same one. That wouldn't be fair. All right, next one is, and we'll just go straight to 39. I haven't read this ahead of time. You haven't read this ahead of
No,
time. Let's see if
clearly.
it's any good. Would you rather have all your competitors' marketing strategies exposed to you or have your strategies remain a secret but without insights into theirs?
I would say the second because, I mean, yeah, you always look at your competitors, but I think it's better to look outside your competitors. I mean, when I was in ski and snowboard, and then also here, I mean, you look at things and approaches and tactics and whatever strategies outside the industry sometimes because it gives you a different perspective.
That's why we have you here. It's a different perspective.
Thank you.
Yes. All right, ladies, thank you so much for an hour of your time. We have struck 0 on the clock. But before we close this out, and I say thank you to everyone, Rihanna, this is your time to shine, my lady. We have just spent an hour with 2 of my most favorite women in manufacturing, sharing their stories, their beliefs, the most popular exhibition in all of manufacturing coming up. You have been polite enough to sit with us throughout this, and you are not in manufacturing at all. Have we swayed you? Have we turned you? Are you interested? What do you think about the podcast and manufacturing in general?
Honestly, I didn't really know much before this, but I didn't realize how in-depth and how detailed it is and like how much goes into it. But it's honestly fascinating seeing like 2 women work in a field that I feel like is so predominantly men, you know? So it's like inspiring that you guys are doing this and you guys have been doing this because I feel like it shows women and children out there that like, doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what gender you are, like if you want to do it, if you have a passion for it, you can be successful in it. So it's really inspiring seeing women just being boss women out there. So
And
great
that's
job,
how
ladies.
we are
She's amazing.
closing the show.
Amazing.
Yes. Nothing better could be said. Thank you all for tuning in to The Gunn Show. We appreciate you, and we'll see you all next time.